Chris Cabell, GS14. I took the Johnson O'Connor test, and he said, you need to be writing, and here are some of the professions that you can get into, which I thought was great because all my friends are saying, gee, I don't know what I want to major in college. I knew I wanted journalism. So I ended up at Northwestern University, which had a wonderful journalism school, still does have a wonderful journalism school. And I went through, Northwestern, kind of up and down, depending on whether I really liked the course or not. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, Peace Corps showed up on campus, and they were recruiting. And ever since I heard Kennedy's speech on the Peace Corps, I said, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a Peace Corps volunteer. It was a shock to my system when somebody said, you are a friggin' Peace Corps volunteer. What do you want to do next? What do you want to do now? That was a rude awakening for me. I was just going to be peaceful. I wanted to be there yesterday. Of course, I think I was about 13 or 14 at the time. But what an opportunity. First of all, doing some good for somebody else is never a bad thing. And second of all, you travel. You go someplace you've never been, and you're going to live like the people. My salary in the Philippines was like $62.50 a month. But that was enough for me to rent a room, hire a maid, buy food, buy clothes, and all that kind of stuff. So, you just really, unless you're living on that kind of short supply of money, you don't really understand how it works. And I was just, when I went to the Philippines, it was an eye-opener. And they say, well, culture shock is terrible. Well, culture shock can be terrible, but it's usually not that big a honking deal, for me anyway, because I really wanted to travel. And folks that didn't dropped out. But it didn't happen, I think it happened to one of our group, that she just dropped out and said, I'm not into this. And I thought, we just got trained for 3 months and now you're out of it. I don't understand that. I got accepted early, which shocked me because I'm not wonderful with languages. But the Filipinos use English as the lingua franca of their country for the most part because there's 7,000 islands and 7,000 dialects. That was 6 hours of language training every day. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the midday, and then 2 hours late in the evening. And it was a language class. I had studied German in high school, and I never achieved fluency in German, but I would be able to say masarap con may gulay ang hipon, which means shrimp tastes better with vegetables. Or we did whole conversations. We were doing this. We had stuff to memorize, the words, but the conversations that were part of the training was invaluable. So I think that was and it was also a look into the culture of the place. But it was just an amazing language study thing. And we also had cultural stuff, and a lot of our trainers were Filipinos. We had the basic old Peace Corps volunteers teaching some of these things, and the younger immigrants from the Philippines and wherever, but mostly the Philippines. And one of the things that they did was they got everybody into 2 buses. There were 40 of us. And they said, you're going to be gone for 2 weeks. So bring enough for 2 weeks for whatever you need. And each bus went to a different town. One was Naalehu and one was Pahala. And they were just little sugarcane farming towns. So they would farm the sugar cane, and then they'd cut it up and take it to the sugar cane processing plant, which was not huge. Um, it was very interesting, and we had to go and sell ourselves to this population. And when they found out that the Peace Corps was back, Peace Corps had a good reputation there. They came out to check out the latest cadre of volunteers and see if any of them were worthy of Nalehu or Pahala. It was fun. It was a whole different world. And the family that we lived with thought I was wonderful, and they knew that I loved comic books because their kids had comic books and we'd sit down and go over the comic book stuff. I figured that was good language training. And they found a guy for me. They wanted me to marry this guy and stay forever in Pahala and read comic books. And I thought, okay, maybe not this year. but it was, oh, and also I had a muumuu with a low neckline. And I knew I couldn't take that to the Philippines. So the teenage daughter of the family that we were living with was bestowed this wonderful dress that we both loved. And I said, I want to see pictures of you in it. It was just really a kick in the head. And we went to Kona and slept on the sand. Back in those days you could do that. We hitchhiked around the islands. We went to the volcano. I'm glad we were there then. This latest volcano eruption was just awful.